Yes, hello guys, and welcome again. So let's talk about array methods we must know, right? Last lesson we went over some of the, you know, basic methods. So now we're going to go to some more advanced methods, right? So they're not advanced per se, but like I just felt they needed more explanation, and because of how useful and how much you use them, over time, like in React, in Node, I figured, I take my time and explain these methods very well. So as you can see, the first one is reverse, right? So reverse was actually meant to be out of part of the method you should know, but I forgot to add that. So I'll just be, you know, adding that to this so that we can go over it. So what does reverse do? Reverse method reverses the items in an array, right? So as we have 1, 2, 3 to 7 here, if we use the reverse method on this array, we'll get the reverse of it. So let's look at that together. So say reversed and call that equal to numbers dot reverse, right? It's a method, so we have to call it like this. Let's run that. Okay, I didn't consider log anything, so nothing will show up. So let me log reversed. Right, awesome. You can see what we'll have will be the reverse. What's going on? Sorry, my network is lagging. What's going on? All right, awesome. So I don't know why that took forever, but my network is obviously slow this evening. So yeah, as you can see, it is the reverse, right? Now let's test that again with another array. Let's test that with the names array. Names array. Let's see what we'll have. Again, you have the reverse. Look at Jonathan, which was the last, is now the first. And you have John and you have Jane. So I just sorry I failed to mention this in the last lesson, but then it's also very important, and I believe every JavaScript developer should know it, right? Because you're going to use it for algorithms and so on and so forth. All right, awesome. So what we have next is what the for each. All right, so for the for each, um, the for each, right? The for each is a method that executes a given function on every element in an array. Now, what do I mean by that? It means let me even tell you how the for each works, right? So we have numbers, right? And now we have for each. So the for each method takes what? A function. Then we have, as you know, the for each method is also a function, right? I'm sure you're aware of that. Where does the name method come from? When we have objects like this, we have key value pairs, right? This full name is the key or property, and then this John Doe is the value, right? So now in this case, in our array object, what we now have is something like this. We have something like this. We have um, we call it. We have something like this for each, and then this for each is what is actually what function that does something, right? So this is it here. So that's why it's called a method. When you have a function, yeah, as a value of a property, you call that property what a method. Awesome. So the for each method takes in a function, and we call that a callback function. It takes in a callback function, and whatever the function is required to do, it does it on each individual item of that array. So let's say, for instance, we want to double the numbers of this numbers array, right? So we say we create a function. Let's call that double, right? Let's call this double. Then say x. Okay, now the callback function of this method has it takes in three parameters. The first one is what the item, second one is what the index, and the last one is the array itself, right? Which we hardly usually use. What we usually use most of the time is either we're using the item or the index. The array um, is something we hardly use, but then it's good for you to know that it is part of it, right? So let's say let's write create a variable. We say results, and no, I don't think I need to do that. So I'll just say item by 2, right? And then we put this double function in our for each method. So let's fingers crossed. Let's see what this will give us. I'm not even sure. Yeah, I think I'm missing something, but let's test it out first. This guy here. Let's see. So log salt. See what that will give us. Undefined. Okay. Like I said, I believe we're missing something. I think I need to return here. Hmm. All right. Now to debug this for each. Yes. Put a double function. Correct. Run that again. Okay. That's correct. So the for each actually does not return any result, right? So what I should consolidate the login is what the numbers array. Right. Let's see. Just remember. Sorry about that. Okay. Not double yet. I know my return. That should work. Ah, come on. Item multiplied by 2, right? Yeah, all right. Okay. All right. I think I figured it out. Like I said, the for each does not return anything, right? That's why I can't get any value, right? Now, don't forget, I said this for each method, it performs a particular function on each element of an array, right? So what we're doing here is we're multiplying every item in the array with what? With 2. We'll try to double it. Now let's see what that will give us. Okay. As you can see, we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Right? It doubled all the number in our array. Right? Let's multiply it by what? By the index. As you can see, we have 0, that is 1 times 0, 0, 2 times 1, 2, 3 times 2, 6. Awesome stuff. Alright, so just know that you can use your for each method to perform whatever you need on your array, right? Now this is an old way of writing the for each method. What you mostly see is something like this. You probably see numbers dot for each, and then we now have a callback function, right? So let's assume cover function will be doing the same thing, right? And again, we have access to what our item here, what our index. So we're just doing the same thing, just that instead of using a the old function method, we're using an arrow function. So it just makes us write fewer lines of code. As you can see, our value what is still the same. Awesome. Now let's go to one of the important methods, which is what the map, the dot map method, right? So what does the map method do? It's quite similar to the for each, but instead of returning nothing, the map method returns a new array, right? It returns a new array and it does not manipulate the old one or the original one. Now, for instance, we have numbers. Let's say const, say new array, say numbers dot map. Like I said, we have access to certain parameters like what's the item or element, what's the index, I just mean that I, and then the array. But you usually don't need them. Usually, most of the time, we actually just need the item and the index. So, but in this case, we don't need any of them. We just need the item. So I can take away the parentheses, right? Put my arrow function. Now with the arrow function, I don't need to create curly braces and then write my return here, right? That's the standard way to do it. But with ES6, it's ES6 US, you can do what we call an implicit return. So we just write what we need right here. So let's double all the numbers in our numbers array, multiply by 2, but then let's console or log our new array. Like I said, this one was returns a new array and it does not manipulate what's the original array. This is very important to note. So please take note of it. If I run that, come on, new array, right? So let me run that again. Console. I think my keyboard is not to spell. So as you can see, it doubles all the numbers in the array. And now let's console log our numbers array just to prove to you that it does not what? It does not manipulate the original array. This. As you can see, the original array is still 1 to 7, while the new array is now double of it, which is 2, 4, 6, 8 to 14. Awesome. So take notes. The map method, you know, does the same thing. It performs a particular function on each element of an array, but then it returns a new array. Awesome. So what can we try again? Let's try finding the power of each of them. So I don't know if you know the math JavaScript math method, math.power, and taking the item and then it's the power of what? The power of 2. So to run that, I believe I'll be getting, let's see, we have 1 times 1 is 1, 2 times 2, 4, 2 times 3, 9. We have the square of each what? Of each element in this array. Awesome. So there are a lot of more things you can use the math method to do, right? Sure, as you develop more, you start to see more use cases. Awesome. So let me let me move to the filter. Right. So I remember I created this array at the beginning of the lesson. What it is? This is an array, which is what an array of what? An array of objects. Each object has what? The full name, and the age properties with their values. Also, so let's say let's use the filter method on this. So what does the filter method, what does it do? Filter method is quite similar, but the filter method, what we do is, well, we write, we return the values that pass a particular condition, right? Now, what does that mean? Let me first see if we use this numbers array. So I'll say instead of map, I'll call that, my bad, I shouldn't have deleted this. Okay, good. All right, so my battery is running low, but let's power trade. All right, you have. Mhm. So, like I said, the filter method is quite similar. It does not manipulate the original array, but then it returns only values that pass a condition. So here we have our item again. I think that's all we really need for now. And then I want to get the even numbers for numbers array. How do you do that? Say item um, modulus 2 equal to what 0. I'm sure you guys know this method of getting even and odd numbers, right? So what this is I'm dividing my item, which is at these numbers in the array, I'm dividing them by 2, right? And if the remainder, but what this modulus does is it gives us the remainder of our division, right? So for instance, let's say 2 divided by 2, right? Is there any remainder? 2 divided by 2 is 1, there's no remainder. So that means it's 0. That means 2 is an even number. 3 divided by 2 is 1, remainder 1, right? So that means it's not going to be equal to 0. So that means 3 what is what? An odd number, and so on and so forth. I'm sure you get the gist. So if I run this now, I will leave what will return what is an array of even numbers. As you can see, we have 2, 4, 6. Awesome. As you can see, we still have our old numbers array. It's not manipulated at all, right? Now let me do this for our employees array, right? I want to use a more, what's it called? I just want us to use a more real life scenario, right? So let's assume you have a list of employees in the company, and then you want to filter by their age, right? You want people that are above 20. You need people that are above 20 on another array, right? And then you still want to keep that your original array. So on our list here, we have Jane Joe is 20, John Wick is 30, Jonathan Bill is 18, right? So we don't want Jonathan Bill on this list. How do you do that? Take our filter method, you say item, report, we use our arrow function, right? And then what we have the condition, say if item dot age, right, is greater than or equal to, let's say greater than 18, greater than or equal to 20, right? I want people that anybody below 20 should not be on this list. Then when I say return what? Return item. Awesome. So let's see what that gives us. Again, I'm going to console log my employee array just to prove that you know it's not manipulated. Let's see if I actually have time. Right. So I'll run. You can see our first array has Jonathan Bill here, but you can see our second array, which is this new array here, does not have Jonathan Bill. Why? Because Jonathan Bill is not equal to, his age is not equal to or above 20. Is that clear? I hope that's clear. Let me, so you can see now if I'm doing below, or let me change it to 25, right? So if it's 25, I'm not expecting Jane Doe to be on this list. So let me run that again. And you can see only John Wick with 30s on the list. Awesome. So that's what the filter does for us. As you can see, my battery is about to die, so I'll stop here and then I'll get to I'll be doing the rest in my next video, right? So what I'll be doing next will be reduce, the sort, join and include, right? And then I'll probably take on the other array methods that are valuable to know, right? But these ones are the must know. So valuable to know, I'll create a list for that as well, and then I'll take that up in my next video. All right, thank you.